It's the weekend and there's racing at Santa Anita, so that means there's another one of these Santa Anita Pick'em contests every Saturday. Every Sunday, they are absolutely free to enter. The website pick'em.santaanita.com, and it is $1,000 to the winner every Saturday, every Sunday. You can also accumulate prizes for the most selections made and the most correct picks made. Doesn't cost you anything to enter. You don't have to attach your credit card or anything like that. All you have to do is register for a free account on the Santa Anita website, pick'em.santaanita.com. Make sure to read the rules. And every week, we have a little preview show just like this for you, where myself, Gino Bacola, is joined by my good friend Eric from ETOF21 Sports. Eric, buddy, how you doing this week?
Doing good. Like locking in my plays right now for this contest. And
we actually found out over the weekend you won one of these things. You actually were the winner a couple weeks back, I think on the 15th.
Yeah, won the contest on October 15th. And, it was the plays I was just giving out here when we were talking through this bad boy.
Exactly. That was on one of the free preview shows. If you listened along, you could have possibly won that contest because Eric had 9 winners of the 12 selected props that day, and he also had the closest tiebreaker. So well done, my friend. $1,000 will be coming your way from Santa Anita. Let's see if you can win another contest this weekend. Now, remember, anyone who's watching this, if you've never played in any of these, they're only graded with a 1 point correct for every selected prop. So even in the particular props where you have to pick the races, remember that it's only a winner. It doesn't matter what the odds of the horses are. It doesn't matter. If a horse is 10 to 1, it's not going to give you extra. All that matters is picking a winner, stacking winners all the way. Eric, let's take a look at the card for October the 29th. What do you think a good number might be for the total yards in the USC-Arizona game?
I did 1,003.
These teams light it up, right? They both throw the ball a ton. I was up into the 975 range. So, yeah, we're both like 900 above, 950 and above. This thing could be huge. Now, remember, every time you submit a selection, what's nice is it lets you know. And it'll tell you your tiebreaker has been submitted. And now we can jump into the next 12. So, Eric, who do you think is going to win race number 1? It's a really good card on Saturday. There are 7 stakes races at Santa Anita, and we all know that the Breeders' Cup is next weekend with a big day at Keeneland. Talk to us about race number 1.
I went with the 1. I like the cutback in distance. I think the race will break is good for him, and also has the rail and Mike Smith aboard.
Yep, Carmelita's Man will be going third start off the short little break. He is sharp. He has won 3 in a row, looking for a 4th. A couple of those were Calbred Stakes races. I thought the 2, Prince of Bama, was interesting. I liked him last time in the City of Hope Mile in a grade 2 race against Tougher, and he finished 3rd that day. He really didn't run bad. He was just facing a little bit better. I think this group is a little softer here. He's another horse who's going to make the 3rd start of his form cycle. I think he's in a really good spot. Prince of Bama is the pick for me. Now, if you were to select Carmelita's Man, it'll let you know your pick has been made. If you wanted to make the change, you can make the change to Prince of Bama. And keep in mind, if you see right below each prop, it'll tell you what time this closes. So for this particular prop, this closes at first post of race number 1 at Santa Anita. Now, for some of the others, they don't actually post till the start of the prop. So in number 2, this is a prop that asks us which quarterback will have the most passing yards on Saturday out of this group. Caleb Williams, USC, Jaden Delora from Arizona, Levis from Kentucky, Hendon Hooker from Tennessee, Thorne and McCarthy, Michigan and Michigan State, Dorian Thompson-Robinson from UCLA. Now, you have all the way till 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific time to actually make your selection for this prop. You can make it early, but if you want to change and make an adjustment, let's say we find out that there's an injury in one of these games. One of these guys is hurt, or maybe there's a couple injuries on the defense for one of the other teams where maybe you want to alter your pick. You can do so all the way up. We're in Southern California at Santa Anita, so they're always going to be heavily leaning towards, like a Caleb Williams in here. Hendon Hooker gets a lot. Eric, I think the kid from Arizona is like a sneaky one. They throw the ball a hell of a lot. They might be down in this game. There could be a situation where they have a ton of passing yards and still get beat by 15 or 20 points in here. And I don't think very many people are going to think to pick this one because Arizona overall isn't a great team, but they throw the ball a ton, as was referenced by your, total yards tiebreaker.
I actually went with Levis. I just kind of feel that for Kentucky to have any shot, they need to throw the ball. That's the weakness of the Tennessee defense.
Absolutely.
Possible, game script scenario where they are behind and do need to throw. Hooker could get out to an early lead. Thorne plays for Michigan State. I'm the biggest Michigan State homer. They suck. So
same thing with Caleb Williams, like Hooker, right? They could get out to a big lead and then run the ball and not have to throw the ball as much.
UCLA likes to run the ball. So yeah, I think one of those two is the play to go.
I agree. I would go Levis either. I'm just looking for Williams, Hooker, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I absolutely would not play in this spot because I think they're going to be too heavily played. The game script may not be for them. And then Thorne and McCarthy in that game, I don't know if that's going to have the script of a game where they're throwing the ball all that much either. So, yeah, let's move from the second to the third. What number will be lower? Total goals by the Maple Leafs Kings or hits allowed by Zach Wheeler? What did you think, Eric?
I mean, I went with hits allowed by Zach Wheeler. Just kind of looking at it, I think the ceiling would be 6. If wheels fall off, he's going to get clipped. Maple Leafs have an explosive offense. This over-under will probably be at 6.5. So I'm going to go with Zach Wheeler. And you just look at the Astros. They averaged about 5 hits per game. And during the regular season, it's up to 7 in the postseason. So I think 6 is like the ceiling. So I'll go Wheeler.
I very much agree. That's exactly how I had it mapped out in my head. I had like 6, 7 hits allowed because I just don't – he's not going to be in the game to give up 10 hits.
Yeah, right? If he starts giving stuff up,
he's out.
Especially if they lose tonight. Like
he's out.
Lose Friday, he's out.
Yeah, they're not going to leave him in there long. Now, and then on the flip side, total goals, I agree with you. That number is going to be in the 6, 6.5 range, and there's a ceiling to where they could get to 7, 8, 10. That isn't a ceiling in this game. I mean, we could have a 5-4 game there very easily, as we're both on hits allowed by Wheeler. Who will score more, Eric? The 76ers leading scorer or USC total points? And a lot of these USC props, they're going to be heavily leaned towards USC. Talk to us how you looked at this one.
I look at it like this. I mean, obviously, with the 76ers, you're going to be looking at Embiid. I know Vucevic, who, because they play the Bulls, is bad defending the center position with Embiid can do, but they have the Raptors
on deck.
No, they play the Raptors Friday night.
Oh, tonight, and then they play it's on a back-to-back.
Yeah, back-to-back. I mean, if you think Embiid, in my eyes, Embiid will have to get to 35. I don't think that's going to be able to score 35 because I don't think he's going to even play 35 minutes.
And the line is telling you that USC is going to score 50.
Yeah.
Because the over-under in the USC-Arizona game is 75.5, and USC is about a 15-point favorite.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's telling you that USC is going to score, 60, actually, points in that game. So, that's what's hard, is that it does just feel like, even though it does feel like it would be really hard.
Under for team total points on one sports book is 45.5 for USC.
For USC. And so, are we going to get that from anyone on the 76ers? Even just that line, like the 76ers leading scorer, that line would be what, 28, 29?
Yeah. And is it going to be that big of a competitive game? How people could sit, you know what I mean? Because the game against the Raptors back to back.
Yeah.
So in my eyes, you got to go.
I agree. You got to go USC. I think you got to go USC there. let's continue along to number 5, which is just a pick the winner of. And I'm going to go to the 2 here. I think, are we both on the same one here, Valiant Sir?
Both on the 2, correct.
Yeah, we're both on Valiant Sir. Valiant Sir is in really nice form right now. And you're a fan of Mullins. I know that. You've told me that when we played the races. It seems like there's a pretty good amount of speed in here, Eric. It probably sets up well for Valiant Sir.
I think it's the pace lines up phenomenal for him. And like you said, there's just certain trainers I love to bet, and Mullins is on the top of that list. So I'm all about it. And the fact it's only 9% picked, it means if we do get this, we're gonna be cutting some people out. So I really like that too.
Yeah, Valiant Sir in race number 5 for me and Eric. Let's move to Michigan State. Eric, for those of you who don't know, you're a Michigan State fan, and not been a great season so far. They're a heavy underdog in this one, but the over-under is 55.5. Which way are you leaning for the total points in here?
I'm going to go over just for the simple fact I think Harbaugh is going to try to run up the score.
Yeah. Rivalry game, rub it in. They beat you the last 2, or you beat Michigan the last 2 years too, right?
The last 2 years, last time we're in the big house, 21-point dog and straight up won. I think this is a statement game for Michigan. I think they score a lot of points. Michigan State's really, really, really bad defending the pass. And then Michigan State may be able to get 14, but I think Michigan State's going to roll them.
I was on the same with you. We're both on the over. Remember, if you make a pick, it'll let you know that your pick has been made. What number higher on Saturday? Wins by Juan Hernandez or Bryce Harper combined hits and walks? What are you thinking on this one, Eric?
I went with Juan Hernandez just for the simple fact Astros haven't named a starter yet. I think they're going to go with Valdez, according to DraftKings Nations by SPR. Harper, he only has 2 total hits in the games against the Astros this year, has yet to be walked. So, yeah, I think I'll go with Hernandez because I think the ceiling for Harper is 2.
And Hernandez, when you look through his mounts, he's on a 5-2 shot in the opener. Hernandez doesn't have a mount in race number 2. In the Goldacova, he's on Avenue de France, who's 5-2. In race number 4, he's on Safa's Day. In the 5th race, he's on Ziyu Joe, who's 4-1. Like, all of his mounts are always so live too. He could very easily win 3 or 4 any day. Speaking Scout, he's on another live mount. In the Golden State Juvenile, he's on Mystic Flyer, who's 5-1. Hernandez is on Freedom Flyer in the 9th. And then in the 10th race, he is on Rhea Moon, who we're going to talk about in just a minute. It's a little bit of a tease because I know that's a horse that you like in one of the other props. Let's go to the Trojans, Eric. Minus 15.5 against Arizona, plus 15.5. USC is coming off a bye after they had that tough loss to Utah in the first loss of the year. But honestly, USC, the way their schedule plays out, they have a couple games in a row where they'll be a heavy favorite like this. Then they have a game against UCLA. They might need a little bit of luck in order to get into the Pac-12 championship, just the way that the conference is playing out. But they're going to put themselves in a good spot. They're a top 10 team right now, and a win against UCLA will help them. They'll need a little bit of luck along the way, but honestly, it's been a good year for them. It was quick. It came quicker than I think a lot of people expected for Lincoln Riley. Did they cover this big number here against Arizona?
Arizona, explosive offense, that big a number.
Backdoor, right?
Yeah, it has backdoor completely all over it. So, yeah.
Me too. And like I said, any of these props, if you're someone who plays these contests a lot, it might make sense anytime you can to try to play against a USC, a UCLA, a Lakers, a Dodgers, like any of the local teams that show up in one of these. They're going to be more heavily backed than normal because all the local people are going to just take USC or UCLA or lean that way in those. As we move to number 9, Eric, head-to-head matchup. Who do you think finishes ahead of the other horse in the Senator Ken Matty? Freedom Flyer versus Amy C.
I went Amy C. Outside post helps, long layoff, Phil DeMott bar.
Yep. Amy C is cutting back from that mile to 6.5. Was a winner at 6.5, 2 starts back. And Freedom Flyer draws the rail, and the rail isn't always the best place to be down the hill. It's when you're going in the down the hill layout, it's sort of the opposite. Being on the outside is a positive, and you're fine out there. We continue along. Prop number 10 is just a straight pick the winner. I teased this one a minute ago, and I think you're on the 8 here, Rhea Moon.
Correct. I am on the 8, Mia Moon here. Correct. Juan Hernandez up, favorite jockey, best jockey there. I think this is his race to lose.
Rhea Moon, another Phil D'Amato, who's so good on the turf. I thought Tesare was a little bit interesting. Tesare, when you sort of dive into her last couple races, back on July the 23rd, she was coming off of a very long layoff. She had not raced since November of the prior year, so she really needed the race to build some fitness. She came back on August 20th, and she was in the Del Mar Oaks behind a horse named Splendorella. She ran really well that day, kind of deceivingly well, finishing 4th in a field of 13. And then in her last start, she was going 6.5 furlongs down the hill, and she came flying late, splitting horses, big gallop out. Now she stretches back out to a mile. I think it's a good spot for Tesare. That's prop number 10, a straight pick the winner of race number 10. We move to the 11th. Combined home runs by the Phillies and Astros Saturday, or UCLA touchdown passes. How do you analyze this one, Eric?
Phillies only have 2 home runs off of lefties for the playoffs. Like I said, it looks like Valdez is going to be pitching. Wheeler's going to be going. Wheeler's been pitching lights out. So I went with UCLA touchdown passes.
My only concern, and why I might zig and go with combined home runs, is that if we get into the bullpens, then things can start to change quite a bit. And for UCLA, what we were hitting on, I could see UCLA maybe getting like 2 touchdown passes and still blowing their opponent out, still crushing Stanford, but just running the ball a lot. But they may have 4 rushing touchdowns and blow them out. So I think that's the key, the touchdown passes, where I'm going to lean the other way, especially when so many people are going UCLA touchdowns. Eric, we finish up with just a straight UCLA minus the 16.5, Stanford plus the 16.5. Talk to us about this one.
Stanford's been playing well, for a team that likes to run the ball like UCLA does. That's a really, 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 really big number. I took Stanford. I think it's Stanford plus the 15.
I agree. I'm with you. And because it's down to what this number has gotten down a little bit, right? I think.
Yeah, it's dropped a little bit.
So if we're just playing off of the numbers, what you're doing is you're just taking like the better of the number right now. I agree with you. I think Stanford is the play in here. I think we lean Stanford plus the points. So make sure to put all of your selections in, folks. Pick'em.santanita.com. If you change your pick, it'll let you know. And we change it back to Stanford. You'll have all the way to 10:30 Eastern time, 7:30 Pacific time to make your final selection for this game. That's why sometimes these contests don't get graded till the next day, or even sometimes a little after, because some of these games will go very late and then they score the tiebreakers. Maybe you can win just like Eric did a couple weeks back, $1,000 winner for every Saturday and every Sunday. They are free to enter. Eric, buddy, thanks so much again. I think next week is when we're going to do a Sunday one. So we'll either do it on Saturday evening or Sunday morning, because Friday with the Breeders' Cup, I have a couple things going on Friday. So I think we'll push. And for the first time next week, we'll do a preview of one of the Sunday prop pick'em contests. Thanks so much, buddy. I know you're busy and you have so much happening. Thanks for taking a few minutes out and helping us.
Anytime, man. Let's get some winners here.
Make sure to give Eric a follow on Twitter. You can follow him at ETOF21. Eric does a great job over at ETOF21 Sports. Thanks so much, everyone, for hanging out with us. And we'll be back again next week with another Pick'em Prop Preview.